Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. We are rebranding this, calling the Mortgage Coach 10X interview. So this is the first of this new branding, the 10X interview, and can't think of anyone else I'd rather do this with than Jeremy Forcier for the 105th interview in our career together.
Oh, awesome, man. Thanks for having me, man. I always love being on here, love sharing, and it's such a great time of the year and beautiful opportunities like surround us right now. So I'm pumped to share some stuff with you guys here today.
Yeah, no, I am too. Before we get into the headline, which I love your headline, I can't wait to unpack it. Last Friday I interviewed Daniel Saw's vice president of sales, and for the first time I interviewed Daniel last year. He was on his way to doing 150 loans, and it was like, how is Daniel Saw doing 350 loans this year? And I was just wowed. Like, not only is he killing it as a team leader, he's killing it as a region. And then I interviewed his VP of sales last Friday, and I felt like it was a really valuable call. Any thoughts on that, Jeremy?
Yeah, incredible call, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. And I'll tell you, the first thing that I felt when I was watching it was just proud. So I felt proud and inspired. So the reason I felt so proud is I coached Daniel for a year straight 2 years ago, and he is just a savage. I mean, and his whole team is just full of top-notch A-plus players. I've never met someone that is so excellent at understanding his value, not only personally, but his greater value in being able to attract A players. And he executes faster than anyone I have ever coached in my entire life. Like, he's an absolute beast. So it was cool to see them highlighted. He is better from a process standpoint than I am on any day, from a growth organizational type of role. And it was really, really cool. So if you haven't listened to it, if you're on this right now, go back and listen to it. It is so worth it when it comes down to training, execution, processes, how much they really pour into dialing everyone in so they have a uniform way of doing things on a branch and divisional level. It is absolute must listen.
Yeah, and I'm going to put links to it. I'm also in the middle of writing an article that is really designed to help branch managers turn loan officers into mortgage coaches. Daniel, also, usually someone has to be interviewed a lot of times to get a playlist, like Jeremy has one. But I figured after 3 interviews, like, we got to have a playlist for Daniel. It all started with this first one 3 months ago. I then interviewed him a month after that, and I just want to learn, like, hey, how are you training all your loan officers to do the right thing? And then it really became clear. By the way, Alex was on both of those calls. So the first time I didn't know Alex was coming, but Alex was on that call. But then it really became clear that, like, wow, Alex is the one that's doing the training.
Yep.
Daniel is the leader of the group, but the 40 loan officers that are averaging 5 loans per month, Alex is doing it. So guys, check this out. Like, if you want to turn your loan officers at scale into mortgage coaches, I did that interview for you. So check out the playlist, check it out. Anything else you want to say about it before we jump into our call and our topic at hand?
Yeah, I would say that if you are a leader, so whether you are a team leader, a branch manager, a regional manager, a divisional manager, you should really, really plug into that call, because the reality is Daniel he's just so good at empowering other people, is what it comes down to, is that we was doing those trainings when I was coaching him, and that was only 2 years ago. And now he's completely, like, who Alex is badass, by the way. Like, I want to spend some more time with him. So just remember that it doesn't always just have to be you. And that's a mistake that I've made a lot in my past, is that all roads lead back to me. But when you're building something, you have to find other leaders, and you have to really empower people. And just think of, like, the acronym MORE, which is, more. M is motivated, O is organized, R is for relationships, and then the E, though, is for empowered. So like the E is for empowered. And that's really where the rubber hits the road when you have any type of team or you're building an organization within a branch, division, or even your personal team. So you have to empower other people, but there should be another E. It should be MOREE. It's empower and equip. You still have to equip them with the right skills, the training, the knowledge, so that they can actually be empowered in that job and make great decisions and make an impact. So I thought it was an awesome interview. Highly, highly recommend it.
All right, guys. And if you are a manager on this call, I would love to just get a feel for how many managers there are. Give us a little reaction, thumbs up if you are responsible for the success of other loan officers. Give us a little thumbs up. I just want to get a feel for just how many leaders and managers we have. We have over 100 people watching this live, Jeremy. I feel quite confident that over 1,000, people in our community will watch today's call. When I asked you, I wanted to make sure I had you early to kick off the year together. So thank you for saying yes. And then I asked you the headline, and you said you are already behind, getting ahead of the top 3 opportunities in 2024. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean you're already behind, and what are some of the top opportunities you want to talk about today?
For sure. So let me give you some context to this, and I'm just pulling something up over here. So the reason why I said you're already behind is that I don't even know what week it is. So it's either 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had a client reach out to me, right? Previous client, great person. We're in touch. No, bought last year. Took a higher interest rate, even higher than what the market was, just to eliminate fees, stuff like that, knowing that he was going to refinance this year. And he knows that we're monitoring it for him, et cetera. But I got an email that was forwarded to me from him that was like, hey, wanted to touch base. The below person works for you, right? Or they did work with you. And I scrolled down the email, and this was a really good email, by the way. Like, this individual, by the way, does not work for me, does not work with me, and has never worked for me or with me. And the email referenced the investor that he had done the loan with and how they're monitoring the interest rates on his behalf, and that if he wants to get started right away, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was really good. So of course my initial reaction, Dave, was irritation. I was like, oh, why? And then I got over that really fast and was like, that's really good, and I should learn from that, right? Because that's my competition and I need to pay attention to it. And so I had an aha moment where I realized, hey, I'm behind already and I didn't even know. So that's how I came up with the tagline, was really more self-reflective of not telling all of you that are watching this that you're behind. You are, but that was because I was behind and I didn't even know it. So I think that this coming market is going to be extremely, extremely competitive, at least in the intermediate term. Okay. When you're going to have consumer direct individuals, people buying information, whether it's trigger leads or whether it's just public info on, like, what is their interest rate, et cetera. When did they close the loan? And they can figure out basically what interest rates were during that time and start reaching out to these people. And technology is so good now, whether it's AI or just a really good writer, that people are going to think either A, it's you, or B, not care and see that they're getting a really good deal or opportunity. So of course I let this customer know that, hey, that is not me. And that person has never worked for me. I appreciate you. We are actually totally keeping track of the market for you. And we'd love to set up a file now, because now is the time to prepare, but now is not the time to go ahead and actually execute, because rates are going to continue to come down over the next 60 to 90 days. So I crafted an email because of this, that I sent out to all of the closed loans that we did last year, right? And I'm happy to share the email template. And the reason why I'm using the tagline of this, of like, you're already behind, is because I shared this with all of my loan officers, right, that work for me, gave them the template, cool video that explains people are going to be reaching out to you saying it's time to refi right now. That's because they want you to move on something right now so they can get a commission. It's not the right time, but it's really close. So I'm paraphrasing for you. Let's get the file set up, ready to go. We can copy your old file, hop on the phone, talk about your employment. Has anything changed? Has your liabilities changed? Has anything changed in your life? Get everything set up so that we can move quickly when the time is right and beat the rush for when everyone's trying to do everything at the same time. And I gave this template out, right, to my loan officers. And here's what's hilarious. I'm still having people yesterday that I'm doing trainings with, talking to, that are like, yep, I'm planning on sending that out this week. And I'm like, I gave it to you 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. That means 2 weeks that you were at risk for all of these people. And let me give you some data points, because I know you love data and it's important to everyone to know. So we sent this out to 156 people, and then we reached out to every single one of them 2 days later after we sent the email. And as of today, Dave, we have taken 56 loan applications in the last 2 weeks for refinances. So
Wow.
56 of the 156. So that is, about 35% have already committed yes. We have 50% that we're still following up with, right? Because we're going to have to chase them a little bit because they're not paying attention. It's not important to them right now, whatever it may be. It was the holidays. But the point is that 56 loan apps that I know for sure will close in the next 90 days. Like for sure will close. So if you're not staying ahead of this type of stuff and anticipating what is going to happen in the market, you're going to be too late when the actual real opportunity presents itself. The opportunity is always before the opportunity. I'm going to say that again. The opportunity is always before the opportunity. It's never during the opportunity. It's before and getting in front of it.
So break that. How many apps did you say you took again?
We have 56. I just looked on my spreadsheet right now. 56 in the last 2 weeks.
That's incredible, bro.
Just for refis, by the way. Like these are just for refinance transactions, not
Well,
including purchase.
I love that you made this point, because one of the things that we've been talking about a lot from the Trust Engine platform is the importance to go beyond speed to lead and get to speed to need. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're actually getting to the needs of the consumer before everyone else is. And I want everyone to get this, because this is a theme of opportunity going forward in the mortgage space. Most people that use data, and Jeremy called it, trigger leads. And by the way, we have a product, Sales Boomerang, that has the inquiries. By the way, you're late. Like that means that your customer's cheating on you, and best case you're the second person to call, and most likely you're within the 20 people that are going to call, but you're late. Listing leads, they're great and we have them, but you're late. They already listed. Like they've been thinking about moving up or moving down or doing something for a long time, and you're late. And where the magic is going forward in the mortgage space is not waiting till a consumer is in the market. It's getting to the sweet spot. It's getting to anticipate needs. Lots of lenders are status quo. They don't know anything. And what we want you guys to do is anticipate the needs. This is actually an opportunity category as part of our borrower intelligence platform, where lenders, we're not just monitoring for trigger alerts. We're monitoring for, first time home buyer. Oh, this looks like a move up buyer, move down buyer. And then of course, your rate and term refi and your debt consolidation. And I love the fact, Jeremy, that you're getting ahead of it. You're leaning into it. Did you say you'd be willing to share the letter? I mean, is that something you can just show on the screen?
Man, listen, I want everyone in this community to crush it with their database. Let's not forget, those are your clients. So it's up to you to keep them or to lose them. Those are your clients. So of course, I am more than happy to do that. It is not a problem at all. I'm happy I'll send it to you. I have it in a Word template. It has a video in it, by the way, that's mine. I mean, record your own. I'd highly recommend take my video out. But yes, I'm more than happy to send it.
So guys, here's what we're going to do. If you're watching this on YouTube, down in the show notes, there'll be a link. We'll make it a Word document or a Google Doc so that y'all can check it out, but make it your own, and really audit your processes and your systems to make sure that you're not losing loans from your database. And basically, I love what you did. You basically said the number one opportunity right now is making your database your top priority, because there's a lot of loans in there. There's loans in there now that you're not getting. And then I also would make the case, Jeremy, that if you are killing it with your database, you're more valuable to realtors. You know, like that turns into more value for agents. Are you talking about that with your agents? You know, what you're doing
So
with your
guys,
database?
so Dave and I do this all the time. We have our like third eye connected. Didn't talk about this before we get on, but so thanks for the softball. But excuse me, there's two things I want to point out. One is before I go to the realtor, with the answer is yes. I'll get to what I did yesterday for a group of 25 agents around this for them. But before we go there, I don't want anyone that's listening to this or watching this to be discouraged if you're thinking, man, I only did, 8 loans, 20 loans, 30 loans, 40 loans last year. Like my opportunity is not that big. Okay. Like I don't want you to be discouraged. Like, cause I have lots of loan officers, by the way, that was my feedback. They were like, oh yeah, good for you. I mean, they were not really paying attention to the right thing. They were like, good for you, man. I did like 24 loans. And I was like, you guys, stay in front of those 24 loans. If you get 50% of them, that's an A plus, right? Or more. Number two is that you can do this and leverage this with orphan loans as well. So an orphan loan is a loan that you didn't do, right? But that you can still ask if they're interested in having it be tracked, be prepared, be ready in advance. Here's what's going on in the market. Be the leader, right? Be the leader. You could do a social media post on this. You could ask all of your past clients, hey, who are 2 other people you know that purchased a home in the last 18 months? Who are 2 people that you know that have purchased a home in the last 18 months? Could you please introduce me to them if this would be a benefit to them as well? We want to help as many people as humanly possible, right? And we want to help your friends and family, coworkers, etc. So don't think like, oh, this isn't a big opportunity for me. It is. It's just you have to look a little bit wider. You have to look a little bit bigger. So into the bigger opportunity, Dave, you asked like, hey, this is a great way for you to be valuable to your realtors. So yesterday I did a presentation for 25 agents, and the last bullet point that I went through was around, hey, this is a huge refinance opportunity. And if you're looking for ways to reach out to your database, your sphere of influence, seller leads that haven't listed yet, etc., this is a really easy way to reach out to them. I'm going to email you the template that I used. Feel free to edit it, and you can use my video if you want, but introduce them to me. Ask them if they would like to have their interest rate tracked from where they are right now and be able to automatically save money very, very smoothly and quickly with efficiency behind it and great advice. So I sent this out to all of the 25 agents that were in my training yesterday. And by the way, I don't know if they sent it out yet. I don't know if they're going to, but even if 1 or 2 did, right? You could pick up an additional 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, keep going up number of transactions here and introductions via referrals. So if we want to always say that, hey, agents, we want to help you be more relevant to your database. We want to help you create more business, more interest, great talking points. This is a great talking point. They only see the talking point about the new buyers that are in the pipeline that haven't bought yet. Maybe this can get them off the fence, but what a great value add for them to go out to their sphere of influence, out to their database, and offer something of real tangible value that saves their clients money, and they don't have any commission that's associated with it. That's real value. When you're giving someone and being generous, giving someone something that you don't really have any financial benefit from, that's huge value. And it puts them in a different place in that borrower's mind. When they're thinking about realtors and who to refer, they're going to have stories and memories of like, gosh, my realtor actually told me that interest rates were going down. They connected me with Jeremy, and he was great. He monitored it for us and he took care of it. And our realtor had no benefit in that whatsoever. And that's why we use that person. So this is the type of story selling I was using yesterday when going through this with the agents. And it could be a huge opportunity for you as well to leverage this and get out in front of it for loans that you didn't have in the first place.
So I hope everybody wrote down story selling, telling stories, speed to need stories of how you're anticipating the needs beyond what other loan officers are doing. I want to use this as another moment to teach everyone a framework that we talk about a lot here at Trust Engine. This is a framework for our borrower intelligence platform, but it's all about optimizing success for you as a loan officer or lender. Are you continuously measuring the things that you're doing, your conversion rate. But what drives that optimization, it's speed to need, like it's being there first. It's treating people like people, not like prospects. You know, putting people in campaigns, the more you can treat an individual based off of the anticipated needs of that individual, the better. And then always be coaching, you know, make sure everyone's getting a total cost analysis, make sure that you're always giving value. Like these three pillars, and you could call them skills, you could call them habits, you could call them capabilities, but the consistent execution of these three things, and then you just go in circles. You will optimize for success. You will end up getting every loan out of your database that's possible, and you'll have more loans and you'll be more valuable to realtors. So I feel like we've talked a lot about this, call it this one opportunity, your database and everything, before we go to number two, because we promised everybody three. I have a feeling that Jeremy will have more than three, but anything else you want to talk about this one? And by the way, if you guys have
No,
questions, if you have
yeah.
questions, Jeremy loves questions. And how did everybody like this first one? Give us a little reaction, whatever reaction you had. What did you think about opportunity number one? Also, just to put an explanation mark on the point that everyone's too late. I asked a question a few weeks ago in our Facebook group. How many refi at rate and term applications have you taken so far? And 0, 3, it's too early. You know, like no one had put big numbers in there. And so guys, Jeremy's putting big numbers in there, and he is prepared to optimize this marketplace because he's being predictive. He's skating to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. So anyways, love that, brother.
Hey, you know, before we move on, I want to address a couple things that were in the chat and give people a little bit of clarity. So people are asking, hey, are you triggering these? They didn't use that word, but like actually apping them, etc. So as of right now, I am copying the file. I have them all set up, basically, which means just over the phone. We just started to collect docs. So we're from a process standpoint, like I want to make sure that I can execute the fastest and the most efficiently and the most effectively as possible. So for me, it was let's make it easy was number one. If I was to give you a process, hey, we're going to copy your file rather than having like fill out a whole new link, right? I'm going to copy your old loan file. We're going to get it all set up. Are we triggering it? No, not yet, although we started triggering them this week, which I'll get to in a second. So it was just making it really easy for them, right? Hey, we're just going to have a conversation, hop on the phone. Has anything changed with your employment or your income? We're going to take a look at a new credit report to make sure your liabilities are intact. Has any changed with that? Do you have any new debt? We're asking like really simple questions, right? Are you carrying any unwanted debt right now? Simple things like that so that we can understand. So we have real files set up that aren't triggered, right? Now, number two is that I am looking at EPO dates. So follow me here for a second. I'm looking at EPO dates because that is the number two thing that all my loan officers kept bringing up, which I want to point out for a second. They brought up, I don't have that many opportunities. And what's going to happen if I get EPO'd? They're focused on the wrong things, you guys. Like they're not focused on the actual opportunity. They're literally focused on only what can go wrong, and what you focus on expands. Like what you focus on expands. So I am not thinking about that at all. I'm focusing on how many people can I get engaged that say yes and that would like to move forward, and then how can I organize them from EPO date, meaning how far out are they before the EPO is up, the early payoff. And by the way, even if I have to EPO myself, I don't care. I mean, it's like if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it. Now, I'm not trying to EPO myself for the record, but I think Sean Herrero said that recently too. I think I heard a clip on that he said on here, and I agree with him 100%. Like in the worst case scenario, like I already got paid once on it. Like I don't need that to go away 100% from someone else. It's okay to not get paid twice if I have to, but I am structuring it from EPO dates. Like, can I lock someone for 60 days, for example, right? Can I lock someone for 75 days? Can I lock someone for 30 days? And I'm organizing them by EPO date. And I'm also organizing them by interest rate. What's the lowest hanging fruit where I can do this right away? And to answer another question in the chat, yes, I am explaining to them that this might not be the first time we refinance this year. It could be in the next 2 months and then again in 6 months from now or 8 months from now. So I'm already planning my next refinance with them as well. Something that I also came up with, Dave, that could be very helpful to everyone who's watching this is that I asked a question to our underwriting and ops team that I guess no one has ever asked before, which was pretty cool. I always like it when stuff like that happens, where I asked like, hey, can you do a 1.0 buy down on a refinance lender paid? Like I was just curious. And they said, I have no idea. No one's ever asked that before. So I did some deep dive research and it come to find out that if as long as it's a Fannie Mae loan, if you were going Fannie Mae, they do allow a 1.0 buy down. So I want you to even think about that opportunity for a second. Like if someone is at 6.625% and that refinance opportunity is not here yet, you could technically offer them a 5.625%, right, for 1 year, and then once again do them again in 8 months from now, a year from now, et cetera. So there are lots of different opportunities here. So the process is identify, get people in conversation, organize based on interest rate and EPO date, and then start triggering loans based on that. And we are collecting updated documents during this process. I think that's something that my team personally, like my assistants, they kind of missed the boat on at first in the first week. They're like, oh no, we're not collecting documents. And I was like, hey, do you remember like when in 2020 and 2021 when we're trying to refi everyone and like people just kind of drag their feet on a refinance to get you documents? Like maybe we should probably start collecting that stuff now because it could take people 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get documents in because they're not as motivated on a refi. They're motivated by the end result as far as what they're going to get, but they don't have a timeline that they have to meet for a close of escrow date. So these things can take a lot longer to put together. Even though we can close quickly, we can underwrite quickly, we need to anticipate once again, like what is the threat, right? So predict, preempt, prevent. So Renee Rodriguez talks about that all the time, right? So if we can predict that people are going to drag their feet because there's not a deadline that they have to do this by, then we can preempt it by getting the file set up and start asking for documentation now in advance, right? So that we can prevent them from missing the opportunity when they actually want to pull the trigger and then they're frustrated because they feel like it's taking too long to do. But really it's because they haven't provided the documents that we need. So that's the process. That's the mindset behind it is yes, set up the apps, trigger as appropriate, collect documents during that time, and then execute based on EPO date as well as interest rate. And don't worry about like, if I have to EPO myself, I absolutely will. And I'm happy to tell the client that as well.
All right, guys. So I want to wrap a little bow tie around this and ask Jeremy one question. So when I did the interview with Alex, he actually came to the interview with this Word doc that was the training he's currently doing for all his loan officers. And by the way, that document is down here in show notes. So if you want to get Alex's training playbook, there's a link to it. But so make sure, especially if you're a branch manager right now coming into the new year, in the content I'm creating every Tuesday on these 10X and every Friday on our mastermind is to help you guys win. You know, how can you win with realtors? How can you win with rate shoppers? And how can you just hit your goals? Now, they said their top TCAs that they're training on right now, Jeremy, are a rate buy down, which is basically, and they're showing the refi, like
Yep.
different options, and they're always showing the refi pledge. And then their other most, the one they're training on is this buy down, buy now TCA. And when they do the buy now TCA, they're showing a couple different options. And then they're showing a refi in that. So this isn't necessarily a rate shopper TCA, but their two top TCAs are, creating urgency with this, why buy now, and this purchase options, call it rate shopper TCA. It sounds like we need to add a third option, a rate and term refi TCA. And so every branch manager, because we haven't been doing rate and term refi TCAs for over a year, we
Yep.
should make sure all of our loan officers know how to do that. And guys, I'll put a link down below. I'm not going to ask Jeremy to show that right now because we have so much content on how to do a rate and term refi TCA. We'll put a link down below. But do you agree those are like pretty, well, first of all, I don't want to ask you if you agree. What does Jeremy Forcier think are the top 3 TCAs that every branch manager should make sure their loan officers know how to do at a level of excellence?
So the number one for me right now is buy now, just what you said, honestly. It's buy now. But I have a refi option in there. I think that's what you just went over as well.
Yeah.
So that is definitely my number one, is like why you should buy now. And then here's what you can anticipate your payment to be when the rates drop. That is the number one. It's the one I tell everyone to do every single time, no matter what. That is my number one. My number two is showing people that have more money to put down, and can afford a higher monthly payment, but have more money to put down, what like a lower down payment looks like, and then showing them that a refinance in the future, okay, is going to equal the same payment as if they put less down. So I'll give you an example, and I'm happy to send you a link on this too. It would be if someone wants to put 20% down at 7.125% interest rate versus if they put 10% down, right, at 7.125% interest rate, and then showing them in the third column, hey, when you refi at 5.875% interest rate, your payment is going to be the same as if you put 20% down, but you save that money in your pocket up front. So doing stuff like that, I think is really, really, really important from a TCA standpoint. And then my third one, ironically, is debt consolidation. I am getting a lot of people with debt that want to pay off debt, want to look at putting themselves in a good position for a future rate and term refinance. So with the debt consolidation, the numbers aren't as sexy. I mean, I'm taking some people out of a 4.5% interest rate, right, who unfortunately have gotten $70,000 of consumer debt in the last year and a half for a variety of different reasons, but showing them that, hey, if you do the cash out refi now and you pay off this debt, you're going to save $750 net, right, cash flow per month. And I'll give you a script around this, by the way. And then when you refinance once again in the future, when rates drop again as a rate and term, your credit score is going to be higher. And if the interest rate targeted is 5.875%, you're going to save an additional $700 a month. So showing people that, like, hey, that you don't, and here's the script, you don't have an interest rate issue, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, you have a cash flow issue. You don't have an interest rate issue, you have a cash flow issue. And they always say, you're right, right? I just say it over and over and over again. It's like, that's great if you have a 1% interest rate, right? But if you could save $2,000 a month at a 7% interest rate, would you rather save $2,000 a month, or would you rather keep your 1% lower rate? You see, you have a cash flow issue on a monthly basis. You don't have an interest rate issue. And I think that that's important messaging if people are in a situation where they could really benefit from consolidating debt and putting them in a much better position, not only right now, but remember, anticipate the opportunity. The opportunity is before the opportunity. You have them pay this off now, show them the vision cast of what it could be in the future. And then now you have two opportunities, and it makes it a lot more clear for them to make a good decision based on the information that you provide.
Love that. Love that, Jeremy. So someone asked, where can you get all this training? So first of all, reminder to folks, go to the trustengine.com/10x page. It's always being updated. Actually, there's a version coming out any day where there'll be 6 core videos that every loan officer should watch. And I made this for you, branch managers. Like, here's of all the hundreds of interviews that we do annually. Like here's 6 that everybody needs to watch right now. And then this will be Win with Realtors. And there'll be like 3 to 4, and there'll be the top 3 to 4 videos to watch to win with Realtors. And it will be Win with Rate Shoppers. And it will be 3 to 4. Jeremy's will be one of them here. And then if you want to, if you're new to Mortgage Coach, first of all, if you don't have Mortgage Coach, sign up for an individual user version here. Or if you're one of the, hundreds of lenders that has an enterprise relationship, have it turned on, let your admin know. But here's video training. So leveraging Mortgage Coach, it's here. And then if you want to sign up, which I urge you to do, every Wednesday we're doing strategy training. Every Thursday we're doing Q&A. You'll hear Daniel leverages this. Like they use this site, and part of their training loan officers how to use Mortgage Coach is he assigns them to watch these videos and then give me your notes. He's leveraging this web page and this platform to train their loan officers. Like we are a training assistant for you guys. So Jeremy, anything else before we go to number 2?
Nope.
What's the number 2? We got 3 big opportunities. What's number 2?
Yep. So number 2 for me is to be a good. No, I'm going to try to word this correctly. So I believe in that basics, like executed, is really going to win. So really going back to basics, right? Like sales trainings and really pouring into my loan officers. And what I wrote down here was impact. That's my word of the year, right? I have 2. It's obsessed and impact. And so impact, like being impactful. So in order to be impactful, you have to become an excellent student again. Okay. You have to become an excellent student. And the reason why I want to become, and I am becoming an excellent student again, I've always been a good student, but I want to become an excellent student again, because in order to be a good teacher, you have to be a good student. So it's like become a great student. You can call it follower if you want. Some people don't like that word. Become a great follower so you can become a great leader. Like you have to really dive into trainings like this, everything that's offered through the Trust Engine and Mortgage Coach and 10X trainings. And you just saw that website with all those resources, diving back into like, how can I be an expert in this and be a black belt in every aspect of what's going to be impactful for consumers, because that will be impactful for my loan officers. And then taking that information and teaching it right to my loan officers, to people in the industry, so they can have a bigger impact as well. So I think that we have to really get back to basics again. And I just recently watched the movie Hoosiers. Have you ever seen that movie, Dave?
Oh my gosh, of course.
All right. So I did a
One
team
of the
training.
all-time greats.
It's great. Did a team training last Friday, I believe it was.
I haven't
We
seen
had
it for 10
popcorn.
years though. I mean, it's been a
Bro,
long
listen,
time.
watch it. Okay. Watch it with your team, watch it with your family. I took 3 pages of notes. Okay. So I was the only one that took notes, by the way, right? Shocker. But that is why I'm the leader and I got to teach from it, right? So like there were so many takeaways from it. Like I'll give you a couple examples, right? Is that mediocre people can do great things if they follow a process, right? Mediocre, like they weren't the best team at all. Like, but mediocre people can do great things, right? I'm a mediocre person who can do great things sometimes if I follow a process, right? Have some discipline. Another leadership one that I came away with from Hoosiers was that you can't have authority until you have relationship, right? So the coach comes in, doesn't know any of the kids. He's getting pushed back. The town hates him, and because he hadn't built a relationship yet. So like authority without relationship equals rebellion, right? Authority without relationship equals rebellion. That was a big takeaway for me. Another one was that everyone needs a superstar, right? Everyone needs a superstar on the team. The superstar is you, just so you know, if you're listening to this. You are the superstar. You are the Jimmy. And if you haven't seen it, you'll understand when you see it. You're the Jimmy of the team. You're the superstar, right? And now the superstar can't win without a supporting team, but they can win with any supporting team. Okay. So you need a team, right? Now the team, though, right, can't win without the superstar, period. Like they need the superstar more than the superstar needs the team because they can replace the team members. So having people that know their role, know where to fall in place, know where to be valuable, support, etc., elevate the star is extremely important. And then it was always just back to basics, of course, which is what my theme was on Impact, is like Gene Hackman, he is the coach in this movie. When he first came in, he didn't have them even touch a ball for like, I don't even know how many practices, just had them running drills and
It was a
doing
lot.
cardio. Yeah, they weren't allowed to shoot. And then in the first 3 games, they had to pass it 4 times before they were allowed to shoot. Back to basics, back to basics, redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. Run the play, run the play, run the play, and do it again and again and again. So to be impactful, I wrote down as my number 2, opportunity right now, but we have to become great students again so we can become great teachers. We have to become great followers again so we can become great leaders. It's really, really, really important. Highly recommend you guys all watch Hoosiers, write down your notes and takeaways, and share that with other people. It's also content you can share with others as well. It was really fun to watch.
Oh my God, that was so good. I didn't expect that as your number 2, by the way. I wrote down, be a student, be a great teacher, train, train, train. And I love that you made it number 2. And that's really my number 1 focus. That's my number 1 as, leader of the Trust Engine and Mortgage Coach community. My number 1 is to identify exceptional mortgage professionals that are winning in this market with advice. Like they're not just transaction coordinators that are doing a lot of transactions. They're going beyond the transaction, delivering advice, helping consumers achieve financial freedom through real estate. I'm interviewing them, and then I'm curating the content. In our team, we're putting together this 10X page in our borrower intelligence platform. Not only are we making sure that the loan officers we serve are getting the right borrower signal at the right time, and we're automating a total cost analysis so that we're, a digital assistant updating their TCA. And then we're embedding scripts, the right sales training at the right time in the message. So guys, that's my full-time job. I do want to call out, like, if you really unpack the Daniel Saw story, and remember, this is a story of, I mean, he's been in the business for a while, but he's not like he's the most senior guy we know in the mortgage business. He's learned quickly. He's become exceptional personally. And now he's got 40 loan officers. And in Columbus, Ohio, they took out Rocket. Like, Rocket is not the number 1 lender in Columbus, Ohio. Huntington Bank is traditionally, big bank in Columbus, Ohio. They took out the big bank. They put Rocket in the big bank in the number 2 and 3 slot, and they're number 1. And they're averaging 5 loans per loan officer with 40 loan officers. And they have the lowest amount of pricing concessions in
That's the
NFL.
coolest part. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like they have the best conversion, they're closing the most loans, and they're the most profitable. And by the way, when you unpack that story, at least the way I unpacked it, it's how they are students. He even said in the interview, like, hey, we didn't use Mortgage Coach until we got beat by a Mortgage Coach loan officer. So they were open-minded, they learned it, and then they mastered it, and now they're training. And now they've put systems for all you branch managers. He's put process and systems around training his loan officers to do things the Daniel Saw way. And now they're killing it. So I love that that's your number 2. I didn't know that that's what your number 2 is going to be. And that is my number 1. And for every branch manager listening to this, if you made that your number 1, your current branch would close more loans, you'd be more profitable, and you'd be more attractive to recruit. You'd be able to recruit into your branch more effectively. So I love
So
that.
little side note on Daniel too, by the way. So, I met Daniel, I don't know, 9 years ago. I think he got into the same coaching program that I'm a part of, the core. And what's crazy is that, like, when he first got into the core, he was an internet call center lender. Okay.
Yeah.
So no relationships, right? Like none, just would dial for dollars, pick up the phone, someone called in, call center. And then he became a behemoth producer through relationships and is able to teach it to everyone else. So it's not it's underrated. Focus is underrated. Okay. So focus is like, okay, I'm going to focus on this, but intentional focus, right? Like with desire is unstoppable. And that is the magic that he has and that we all have to find, is that having intentional focus, right? With desire of like what we really want to accomplish. And then we'll all be unstoppable in anything that we want to accomplish, but you got to find that for yourself.
Love that. We're good. We're getting ready. We're in the last fourth quarter of this game that we're playing right now. If you have questions, put them down below. Give us a little pulse check. Give us a reaction how the call's going. Good. We're getting a lot of good feedback, Jay Force. Number 3.
Sweet.
What's the number 3 opportunity?
Number 3 opportunity for me is to help realtors grow their sphere of influence and referral process. So I've known this for a long time, but it's never been more clear to me with how hard my agents had it over the last 6 months. Like I'm talking, they were dead. Okay. For the most part. And it was because they had no process on how to follow up with sphere of influence. They had no call plan on a daily basis. They had no real program for past clients. They have no email once a month that goes out. They didn't have anything really they were doing besides getting lucky if people thought of them and gave them a call. They weren't mailing on a regular basis planned 12 months out in advance. So I've created a playbook for my agents that I've been going over with them, doing them one-on-one, seeing if they're interested in it. Of course, I gain interest. Here's how you gain interest, by the way. Like, hey, if I could show you like a really easy to implement program that's going to generate you anywhere between 5 to 10 extra closings over the next 12 months, would you be interested? That's the script. Okay. No one's going to say, nah, sounds like crap. I'm good. But if you just tell them, hey, would you be interested in a really easy to implement, right, system and program where I can show you that you'll generate somewhere between 5, right, to 10 closings in addition to what you're currently doing over the next 12 months, would you be interested? They're going to say, yeah, what are you talking about? And then you have to have something prepared though. So my presentation for them is really simple. It's like, here's what you mail. Here's what the program is over 12 months, right? Here's how you call your past clients. Here's what you say. Here is how you follow up with any hot leads on a weekly basis. Here's what you say. Here's how you follow up with listings that aren't ready to list right now, but they're in your pipeline. Here's how you follow up weekly with people that are in escrow and are in contract. Here's how you use an all about you form on any new lead that you get before they even commit to working with you, showing them a house, and you can give them an item of value that's personal to them to create stickiness. So I'm giving them a playbook, right, that they can use, execute, and implement, and going over with it. Now, are they going to all do it? I don't know. That's not up to me. But the value is in being there and giving them the information. And if they need help executing it, being there to help them execute so they can build a bigger business. So that's my number 3 focus, is helping my business partners and realtors specifically close more transactions through processes and systems that they can implement with very little thought.
Love that, man. How about, would you be willing to schedule a call sometime in the next 3 weeks, and we'll call it Jeremy Forcier's Agent Playbook,
Sure.
and we'll just spend a whole call on that. So
100%.
if you guys would like Jeremy and I to do that, let us know with a reaction. Give us a reaction, and based on how many people give us a reaction, we'll prioritize that. It looks like a lot of people want that, Jeremy. Also, yeah, well, it exploded. So also in LinkedIn, I wrote an article on how Daniel is closing all these loans. Check that out. There'll be an article any day now on, the how to turn loan officers into mortgage coaches at scale. And then I do, just for everyone watching this, one number of the top 12 videos from last year will have to do with realtors, how Dan Keller is cold calling realtors, how Dan is getting meetings. What's this? Jeremy Forcier's 2023 Realtor Playbook. So we're gonna, guys, don't wait for the next call with Jeremy. There it is right there. It was one of the top 12 videos last year. And my guess is Jeremy will do it again. Jeremy Forcier's 2024 Realtor Playbook. And it will be one of the most viewed videos this year. So I can't wait to do that, bro.
Heck yeah. Can't wait to, man.
All right. Well, we got 10 minutes. Anything else you want to unpack? Any other core opportunities that people should be focusing on, or any more color you want to put around the three that we've laid out today?
I mean, I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has questions. I always think that's honestly the most impactful, is to answer what people are wondering about. Outside of that, just keep it really simple. If I could give you any piece of advice, it would be to have accountability to someone else. Like, there's a reason why I have been a coach and I've been in coaching for so long, like basically my whole career since I was brand new. And it's because it forces me to do the things that I probably just wouldn't do all the time. It forces me to be consistent. It forces me to have someone else that I'm accountable to, that I am paying money to, because I don't want to waste the money. And I'd say that that's something that's just underrated, that maybe we don't talk about enough in the industry, is that almost all of the best people that I know and I interact with, even that are coaches, they're still coached, right? Like, so like I have coaches in my life, right? That coach me and that I pay and that I really pay attention to, and that I execute on like what they say and what their input is on my ideas. So if you don't have, a coach, get one. If you can't afford a coach, get an accountability partner. So like on a branch level, for example, I run an accountability group every Monday, right, for the LOs, and they make a goal for the week, and there's a consequence if they don't do it. So they get to make the goal. I provide the clarity, because most people that are setting a goal for the week, they're like, I'm going to reach out to past customers. I'm like, that's not a goal. It needs to be specific. It needs to be measurable, right? So I'm there basically just as the coach of like, okay, cool. So you want to reach out to past clients. How many in this week are you going to reach out to? I'm going to reach out to 20. Great. So you're going to reach out to 20 past clients this week, or you owe me $500, right? Like, so having a consequence tied to it is important. So every Monday we have an accountability group. Every Friday we have a Ask Me Anything. I'm just on Zoom, open line for an hour. Hop on, ask me any question you want about anything, and we're helping each other, myself and the loan officers. And then every other Wednesday, we're doing a sales meeting called Coffee Talk, where we're going over specific items that I've prepared that I think could be impactful. So imagine that, like, that's just me with my loan officers. You can get coached by someone else. You can form your own accountability group and follow that same type of format. And it's just going to make you better. And it's going to make the other people better that are participating in it as well.
Yeah, and we find, and we recommend, when with Mortgage Coach or anything, accountability partners are key. Being really clear on your why. Number one. Number two, do the reps. And number three, have an accountability partner. Can't emphasize that enough. So someone asked, how do I get to the videos? I put a link down below. On LinkedIn, if you go to my LinkedIn articles, you'll find our top 12 videos. Everybody should just bookmark our 10X page. And then I did want to just call out, like, if you go to our YouTube channel, a lot of the intention we have is just to make this a resource for you. So like, if you're getting coached by someone else, we don't do accountability coaching, but like, if you wanted to, type in realtors, you're going to get, which, by the way, this was the #1 interview I did last year in terms of views, exactly what to say to realtors and your clients right now, and that came up. You'll notice #2, how to get meetings with realtors, Jeremy Forcier. So all I did is I just went to our YouTube channel. I typed in realtor, and I got some of the most valuable content that has to do with that topic. So make sure you're using our platform as a training resource. Like, it's just a resource, a coaching resource for all you coaches out there. Assign one of these videos to your loan officers, have them watch it, have them do takeaways, tell them that, oh, I want you to create that total cost analysis Jeremy did, and then show it to me, and then give them feedback, let them know if they did a good job or not. Jeremy, you had mentioned your #1 TCA is your cost of waiting. You're showing it to everyone. We've got 5 minutes. You don't happen to have one that you could show right now real quick, do you?
Here, let me see. I'm on a
And
different
by the way, if he
computer to do
doesn't, if
this.
he's not quick enough at pulling it up, we will share a link to it down below. And when we do the next interview with Jeremy Forcier's playbook, will come with what are the 2 TCAs that he is using to, what did he say he's doing? Number 3 for Jeremy, help realtors grow. Like,
Yep.
how is Jeremy winning with realtors? He's helping them grow. And he'll come with 2 TCAs that he's using that are part of how am I helping them grow? So stay tuned on that. And
Let's
feel
see
free to put
here.
any questions as we're wrapping up. We'll try to get to them. Yeah, Renee, Jeremy's email template will be, if you're watching this in YouTube, so you're watching it live, obviously, you're going to need to go to the YouTube version that will be up by the end of the day. And in the show notes, there'll be a link to Jeremy's template. There'll be a link to the TCA that he's going to share right now, and anything else that he referenced. All right.
All right. So this, let's see if I pulled this. I made this yesterday. So this is actually someone who's in contract. But I'm going to walk you through this, okay? Because this is my top 2 like scenarios. So person's in contract to purchase a house, investment property. I'm showing them a couple different options, and then the third one is a future refi. So the reason I'm showing them this is that I think, as we all know, whenever interest rates go down, what gets promoted the most, right? Online rates are 6.6 or they're 6 point. They don't ever take into consideration any type of scenario, obviously. Like, is it non-owner occupied? Is it FHA? Is it conventional? So what I did here was just walk someone through, and there is a video, right, that's embedded in it. And show them that, hey, here's a couple different options, 7.125% in the first one. Here's what your cash to close is, your payments. In the second column, 6.875, because that's what everyone's promoting, saying rates are below 7. But I showed them that it costs more cash out of pocket. And then the third one, though, I walked them through and said, hey, here's what the target interest rate is like for a refinance here by the end of the year. So, your payment's going to drop to 2317. We're automatically going to watch this and monitor it for you after we close. So there's not a right or wrong one to pick, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower. If it were me, I would pick 7.125% though, because the cash out of pocket's less, and the $47 a month you're going to save for 10 months doesn't really make a difference when you know your payment's going to drop $209 a month. So let me know if you have a preference, whichever one you'd like me to lock in. I'm more than happy to. Either way. And I sent them off the video. And of course, Dave, like, they got back to me and they said, hey, that looked great. We would love to go with the 7.125% option, right? Great. So always show people like future as well. Always show people future, even stuff that's in contract right now. And make sure you're paying attention to like what media is saying, what people are promoting, because you need to use that information. Because if you're not, other people are. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people quote 5.875% right now, but guess what? It's with a whole bunch of fees. Okay. It's with a whole bunch of fees. So it's like, if you know that, put it in your presentation, but then explain why maybe it's not the best strategy right now, right? Because of what the future is. So pay attention to what competition is doing, pay attention to what media is saying, include that so that they also see it and they go, oh, okay, so he has this too, or she has this too. But here's why I wouldn't do it that way. So don't be afraid to show something and debunk it. Is something I do constantly in the TCA videos that I do. I show something that doesn't really make any sense to me, by the way, but I'm like, hey, I'm happy to show it. And then I debunk it, but you always end a debunk with this statement. Hey, there's not a right or wrong way to do it, right? Hey, there's not a right or wrong way to do it. I mean, if someone looks at it all and I show them what makes sense and they go, you know what, we're going to go with 5.875, I'd say, you got it. No problem. Happy to do that for you. So find a need, fulfill a need, do your best to show people excellent options, but ultimately leave it up to them.
So Jeremy, this has been an awesome call. I am looking forward to getting your 2024 agent playbook on the calendar. So stay tuned on that, everyone. Please give a reaction. Let us know what you thought of today's call. Give Jeremy an applause, and appreciate everybody. We're here to help you train to be excellent, to win in this market. So Jeremy, have a great day, brother. Appreciate you. And this call's a wrap, everybody. Take
Later,
care.
guys. Have a great day.